Stand my ground, and I won't back down. Now I know what's right. I got just one line in a world that keeps on pushing me around, but I'll stand my ground and I won't back down. Stand my ground and I won't back down. Won't back down. Stand my ground and I won't back down. Back down.
The facts, dates, and events presented in this video are from the member's best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are our own and do not necessarily represent my employer's positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act.
Nice. You are now in tune with the boss of the business, the What the Heck Show on UnionPowerRadio.com.
It's the way that I am. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I'll tell you that I'm wrong, and I'll learn from it. Jonathan, yes, I'm looking for your support and looking for you to vote for members first. But that's just the way that I am. I mean, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. I'll tell you that I'm wrong. I'll learn from it. Jonathan, yes.
That's right. You're listening to the What the Heck Show here on Union Power Radio. It's November 12 on Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am live on the radio, on YouTube, on Mixler, on whatever platform that is live. And also, I just want to have a disclosure that whatever I say here right now is my time. I'm off the clock and shit's going to come out. And I'm just going to let you guys know that when I'm on the clock is a different story. When I'm off the clock, it's my personal opinions and my own advice or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But this is me, and this is only me on live on the What the Heck Show here on Union Power Radio. Now, we got a lot of things to talk about. I just came back from the TDU convention, And I'm listening to all these social media people, guys that doing recordings. I don't know if we were in the same TDU convention that they were, but mine's, I saw a lot of crazy shit. I saw people being rejected to come to the TDU convention, some rank and file members, and I believe that TDU never reject anybody. But I guess it is happening. If you are opposite of TDU now, you can't go to TDU convention. You're going to be rejected. I don't know, is that utilizing putting the members together? But I believe that everybody has the right, if they want to come to a conference that has to do something with Teamsters. I never thought TDU was Teamsters anyway. The one that runs it, Dave Levine, is not a Teamster. He's TDU. He's not a paid dude member. He never worked in a Teamster shop. He's not a Teamster. So I don't know. I mean, the education stuff there, like I said, I went there. That was my last time, and listen to me very carefully. That is my last time going to TDU convention. This past one was the last time. And the only reason I went is because I had 3 shop stewards that needed some little bit of education, which they already knew what I told them, because the education is not like it was back in the days in TDU. TDU used to be a good education thing, that with the reform and to fight against, HAFA and the IBT and all that. It was good back then, but now it's just like, it's a waste of fucking time, to tell you the truth. I wasted my weekend going to the TDU convention this weekend. Everybody's saying, holla, 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 what beautiful it was. Sean O'Brien spoke. The UAD, or the DAW guys spoke. Lindsay spoke. Yes, that was a good speech that Sean O'Brien did. It was a good speech that Lindsay from 299 did. I wasn't there for the UAW speech, but everybody's praising these guys like they're gods. They're gods. And let me tell you something. The union, the members make the union. It's not the principal officer. The principal officer is not as strong if the union is not strong, if the members are not strong. So the members are the strong people in the union, and then makes the executive board strong. So it's up to the union members to be active in the union and to fight for what their rights are, and to boost up the executive board. Sean O'Brien made a great speech on Friday night, and Lindsay, she did another great speech, and I looked at her a different way this time, because, the last time that when she was running for executive board, I asked her to come to the Union Power Radio, and she refused to come to the Union Power Radio because she thought I was connected with TDU, and she didn't like TDU. So, but now she knows I'm not a TDU guy. I'm not a member of TDU. I went there to educate 3 of my shop stewards, but I think I educate them very well without going to TDU. So that will be my last time, and mark my word, my last time going to that stupid ass convention of TDU. A lot of people that you're going to hear on radio, on the media, saying something different because they script it. It's script, say this about TDU, say this about TDU, because TDU is the bomb. TDU is not the bomb. I'm sorry. And especially when you're rejecting Teamster members from going into the TDU convention. And I know for a fact there is people that got rejected, because Jose is here from the East Coast, the West Coast, and he's going to say what he has to say as far as mobilizing. What is it? Union mobilizing?
Teamster Mobilize.
Sorry?
Teamsters Mobilize. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Wow, you loud.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. the Teamsters Mobilize, and some of them, it was some shit going on in TDU that no one is talking about. Everybody's talking about how great the weekend was and how great to meet my fellow members and fellow Teamsters. And I'm going to tell you something, a lot of people are full of shit. And I'm going to be straight up because this is the What the Heck show. I don't listen. They could tell you whatever the fuck butterflies they saw and the sun and there was no clouds. And that's what they're going to tell you. But here in the What the Heck show, I'm going to tell you straight up. And it was a fucking stupid ass weekend for me going to the TDU. It really was. A lot of ass kissing. Oh, fuck. I never seen so much ass kissing in my fucking life. You gather a bunch of people in and ass kissing starts. It was ass kissing to the fullest. And I didn't get it. I thought a TDU was supposed to be educating the and then they want donations to pay for Dave Levine's salary, I guess, because I mean, you're donating to TDU, you're donating to, there's only one person that makes money there, and that's Dave Levine, supposedly. And supposedly somebody said on the speech saying that the best Teamster ever, he's not a Teamster, so how can he be the best Teamster ever? I don't think he worked for any shops in the Teamsters. I don't think he ever lifted a box, ever worked in a warehouse, never drove a truck. I don't think he did anything for Teamsters, and I don't believe he's a Teamster. So he's the greatest Teamsters of all. Good guy. Listen, personally, he's a nice guy. He is a nice guy. But what I see and the things that I see differently now is what I don't like. And what I don't like is that the fact that people change. People change. A lot of people change for the right reasons, but some people change for the wrong reasons. And that's what I say, because TDU was a reform organization. It was TDU, Teamsters for Democratic Union. Always go after the bad cat. Go after this. Go after that. Go after the consecutive, the consensus. Everything. It just went after a lot of stuff that a lot of members were saying it was, and now they just, like John Palmer says, they're lap dogs. They're lap dogs. And it is what it is. But I had a boring ass weekend in TDU, and it was so boring. I mean, just to see the same people talk about the same thing. I don't see nothing of a movement. Like, what we're going to do now? Now that we got this contract, what are we going to do next? Because the company is running all over this fucking contract. I could tell you that right now as a business agent. This company is running around, walking all over this contract for every violation there is. That's why I always say last show, the grievance procedure sucks. It sucks from the low level all the way to the fucking high level. The fucking grievance procedure sucks. This is what the company's saying. The company's saying, go ahead and grieve it. Go ahead and grieve it. And then what happens? And then the process go from the low level to the business agent, to the rejection, to the panel, to the national panel, to AAA. And it's the company knows the procedure is a long ass procedure. By the time that grievance gets heard, because the company already knows this, it'll be 2 to 5, maybe 5 years. It'll be heard. When it goes to the national panel, they don't have an arbitrator there. They only have an arbitrator there for Article 37. Any other articles that they are violating, there's no arbitrator there. So that means, guess what? It gets deadlock. Even though you put a great case together that you can prove that they violated the contract, it still gets deadlock. And then what it does, it goes back to the local. And then the locals got to argue it all over again with an arbitrator there, which probably will be deadlock again. So the process of the fucking grievance is the worst. It's the worst, and we have to fix it. The only way we could hold this company liable for every contract they fuck up is by fixing the grievance procedures. This shouldn't go from the low level to the business agent. It should stop right there at the business agent with the labor manager or the DM. Okay, it should stop right there. But the problem is this. You have a shop steward. Let's start it from the beginning, because I want everyone to know how the process go. So you start from the beginning. You have the grievant, the member that files a grievance against the supervisor working. He files the grievance. He hands it over to the shop steward. The shop steward then takes it to the manager, to the center manager. And between the shop steward and the manager simply says, I'm going to deny it, without listening to what the explanation of the grievance has. No explanation. The explanation is on the grievance, but they don't even read it. They just put on company response, and I get this all the time, denied. It's supposed to be company response, not just a deny, just not deny. Deny why? Why you're denying it? That don't happen. So the center manager denies it, and then it comes to the business agent. Now the business agent gets it, and now he has to set up a meeting with labor, because now here in Local 804, laborers are being passing the buck to the DM, and that's what I have a problem with, because when I go to these meetings with the grievance meetings, and I sit down in front of a DM instead of a labor guy, because the labor guy is the one who knows the contract, supposedly. So supposedly the labor guy knows the contract. Imagine what the fucking DM. So you're sitting in a room with a DM that don't know the contract, and you're trying to explain to him the grievance of why it was denied and no explanation whatsoever. Guess what the DM is going to do? I don't know. I'm going to deny it myself. And then you have two denies. So now I have to take that grievance after he denies it again the second time, because he don't know the contract. He don't want to read the contract. He don't want to know about the contract. He just wants to deny it. So he denies it, and then I take it, and then I file it for panel. And it sits there in panel until enough grievances for that specific article gains a lot of weight, and then an arbitrator sees it when an arbitrator sees it. And it could be years to see it. So the arbitrator don't see those grievances, because then they'll go to the national panel, which I think national panel is a joke also. It was a joke back then. It's a joke right now. I think it's a joke. I think is a lot of dues money, members' money wasted at national panel, because I got sick. I got sick when they were calling out when I went, they were calling out the cases. And one particular local was, postponing all their cases at national panel. So whatever cases they had on the sheet, they call out the case, and then it's up to the local to say postpone or settled or withdraw. They have to answer to that list. And when I heard one particular local postponing every case on the first day of national panel, postponed it. Why are they there for the whole week, wasting members' money? If they postpone all the grievances in national panel, then bye-bye. You have no reason to stay at the national panel for a whole week. You have no cases there now. You postpone all of them. Go back to the local and go do your job with the members. Don't stay at the national panel. I don't get that. Whatever. But anyway, that's going to be this is the What the Heck show. I say what I feel is wrong and what people need to correct it. They need to correct a lot of things. A lot of these platforms, they got a script. They record on Tuesday and post it on Saturday. There's no live call-ins. There's no real questions being asked. They just want to make everything look like it's running real good. And it's smoking mirrors. That's what it is. And here, I'm going to tell you how it is, what it is, and how it's going to come out. I don't give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck. You know, maybe that's why Sean O'Brien likes me, because I don't give a fuck and I say straight up whatever I ever had to say. I don't see these guys getting Sean O'Brien on their show. But I could tell you this much: at the TDU convention, Sean O'Brien came up to me. We talked. We said what's up to each other, and he says, I want to get on your show," and he will get on my show. I know he's busy right now, but he will get on my show because I have a live show. He likes the questions be asked directly. He don't like that recording bullshit. This is a live show, and when Sean gets a little bit not too busy, I'm going to invite him into the show. I want to invite a couple of other people to the show. And this is a live show. This is what it's all about. So, Jose, I know you got a lot to talk about this TDU and rejection of the Teamster rank and file at the TDU. I mean, I know it was something going on in TDU this weekend when I was in a class. I don't know which class I was. I think it was enforcing the contract or something. And one of your peoples put somebody on the spot that was talking, and he shut the class down. He was supposed to do a 2-hour class, and I think within 45 minutes, 50 minutes, it was shut down because he couldn't answer whatever. But anyway, do you know what I'm talking about, Jose?
Well, I know there's there's some Teamster Mobilize that went to that specific workshop on Saturday, but none of them told me they were kicked out. I know in one workshop, which was Amazon workshop, I think it was Meet the Amazon Challenge or something to that extent. Some of the Teamster Mobilize brought up questions about, there was one person that's organizing Amazon inside there, and they're part of Teamster Mobilize, so they were part of the No Vote movement, and because of that, they were fired, and two TDU individuals, I'm not going to mention their names, went up to one of the persons that was asking a question and said, it's not right that that person was that person was fired from the organizing spot that they had a position, but it's an unsaid thing that you don't question the international. You have to go along with it. And they questioned the international by having the vote no, partaking in the vote no movement. So that happened for the Saturday one. I don't think it was one of Teamster Mobilize, but there's several of them that went, and I've asked, the ones that were there if they were in that workshop. Some of them were in that workshop, but they weren't escorted out, from that workshop. But it's funny, leading up to that TDU convention, I heard from two Teamster Mobilize. Actually, yeah, two. And well, three, but two of them are more important. One was reached out to by David Levine, and David Levine had a problem with Chantal, because she's part of Teamster Mobilize. She wrote an article in the Cosmonaut. It was a Marxist approach, a Marxist analysis to the UPS contract. And, it was her right. She was critical of TDU because TDU, they were pushing the yes vote. I mean, that's what it was. And, she was critical of TDU. So David Levine called her and, told her he must have probably read the article and just mentioned that article about how she and Teamster Mobilize want to destroy TDU and some other, stuff that he was saying. And he basically told her, you can't go to the convention.
It's so crazy that you say that he says that, oh, she's trying to destroy TDU. A lot of people been trying to destroy TDU. Not this one person. It's just not overnight that she's want to destroy TDU. It's a lot of people that's been wanting to destroy TDU. TDU is this. It's a little thing, I whatever. I mean, it's easy to destroy. I mean, he is. I don't whatever. I just don't understand why would he go after her and say you trying to. He's battled all those fields already because a lot of people do not like TDU. I mean, they were bragging.
If you hate TDU, why would you even go to a TDU convention? I mean, I wouldn't go to a TDU convention. I want to go to TDU workshop. I don't want nothing to do with them. They're Teamsters. There's some respectable. There's some individuals in there that I have respect for that I get along with. It's cool. Others, it is what it is. Is there a point where Teamster Mobilize and TDU will come together on a specific issue? Yes, but I'm not. I don't want nothing to do with TDU. Let TDU do their thing. That's cool. But I'm not gonna fuck with TDU. And I mean, when you were talking about what's there to rally on, right, earlier. And one thing I see, because Carol Tomea said it, is she wants to target the customer counter. She wants to have one person there and then have an AI there. And I don't know how in the AI form, but they want to have an AI. It's an issue like battling automation and battling AI that should be our next goal. Like, no, we need to protect every Teamster job there is, because UPS will just go after those jobs and go after those jobs, and we have to meet that challenge. We have to fight on the grounds of protecting Teamster jobs and to put a lot of safeguards when it comes to automation and comes to AI in that respect. Now going back to TDU and Teamster Mobilize, another one was going to go to the TDU convention as well. I think they were going to register late and everything else, but once they found out that she was part of Teamster Mobilize, they just chopped it off. Like, no, you're not going to. And then Ken Paff called another Teamster Mobilize that's up in the Bay and told her that she can't. Teamster Mobilize can't leaflet the convention. They can't pass out literature in the convention, right? So I'm hearing all this. So I was like, I'm going to call Ken Paff, right? Because he called me before, trying to kind of recruit me in TDU a while back ago. And I called him and I asked him, hey, what's this backlash against Teamster Mobilize? I'm hearing that we can't pass out literature and that you want to ban some of Teamster Mobilize from attending TDU. And he played coy. He played stupid. Like, it's just it's been a tradition that.
Well, Jose, let me say something. Putting out any literature in TDU is just waste of paper, because all those people, all those members that go there are like TDU, groupies. I mean, they are going to listen to whatever Dave Levine says and Ken Paff. So passing the literature, they probably going to have the worst time of their life on the weekends there if they go there to pass anything, because everyone that's there at TDU, rah 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 around.
I think some of the Teamster Mobilize closer to the convention, right, started to understand. Look, if I don't think we're gonna have a receptive crowd if we start passing out literature, because they wanted to pass out literature so those in TDU could actually know what Teamster Mobilize is, rather than get this secondhand idea of who we are from Ken Paff and David Levine and others that see us as some sort of of threat. I just don't understand. I think TDU feels kind of slighted by Teamster Mobilize because it just grew out organically. Teamster Mobilize, bunch of part-timers getting together. It's like, you know what, these part-time issues, they matter, especially in this contract. We saw what happened during the pandemic. We see the record profit this time that part-timers, have a stake in this contract. And we're just rank and file. It just grew organically, but TDU, they think that they have a monopoly on the rank and file. Like, nobody has a monopoly on the rank and file. Not TDU, not Teamster Mobilize. The only people that have a monopoly on it is the rank and file.
The question that I have for you though, this Teamster Mobilize or mobile, right? That's what you're
Teamster Mobilize, yes.
Teamster Mobilize. So what do you guys go, because the contract is already signed and done with, and in the beginning when you guys all got together was to vote for the vote no, and obvious the contract passed through, and now we're moving to the next 5 years. So what are you guys are doing for the next 5 years instead of causing this thing about vote no because it's over?
Like you said, like you just mentioned about what issue is there to mobilize around. Right now, for me and for some in Teamster Mobilize, it is automation, it is AI. It's to rally around that, it's to educate the shop floor, like, hey, look, this is what's coming down the pipeline. We need to protect. It might not affect you in the intermediate, but a Teamster, a position that's lost within our ranks is a position that we probably won't be able to get back. Now, are there safeguards in the contract? Yes, but we have to fight it. We have to rally around issues like that. It's just finding issues that to rally around, whether it's in the contract but it's also things that we don't see, because in the contract there's not that much mention about automation and technology. It just talks about technology, but says UPS will give 45 days and meet with the Teamsters.
Well,
but
AI,
what does that accomplish? Is UPS still going to do what they want to do when it comes to technology? Yeah, they're going to do it,
right? But what are you guys as Teamsters Mobilize? What are you guys? What's your angle on things now that the contract? I mean, because that's what you were angling, because you guys didn't want this contract to go through because of the part-timers and the wages and all that. So now that the contract, like I keep asking, what are you guys doing now, and how many Teamsters Mobilize people you have in total? Like, do you have enough to even cause any ruckus? I mean, I don't get, after the contract, what are you guys doing now?
Well, do we have enough to cause any ruckus? It depends how loud some of us get, but in numbers wise, no, we're still a small militant group, so that's the way.
How about organizing
right now.
Amazon? How about getting together and trying to get Amazon to come into the Teamsters?
Well, there's some of us that are actively doing that, with backlash from the IBT. There's still some of us, we're gonna do what we need to do. Like, for the Amazon, that's going to take all hands on deck when it comes to Amazon.
It is tough. I mean,
but there needs to be, okay. But it seems to me, if you're not, in sync with them or kissing ass, they exclude you from things. You need to be all hands on deck when it comes to Amazon. Just because I might not get along with you, cool, whatever. But there's a greater threat, which is Amazon. Because Amazon now, once they start building more and more of these last mile delivery stations, they're gonna start taking back more and more and more of their work. And what does that happen to us? We're not good. Our numbers are going to probably stay consistent, or they're going to start declining every year. because we don't have the work, and is
the listen, AI is there. I mean, AI
yes,
is going to take a lot of jobs from corporate people going to be losing their job because AI could do everything. I mean, I use AI for my emails. It's fucking amazing that I could put in 5 letters and it runs out. It gives me a fucking email, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I mean, it pulls out long shit and some crazy shit, and sometimes I use that shit. But AI is gonna be the future of everything, and this is the problem. The government don't have any restrictions on them. The government haven't had any restrictions or haven't had any laws of what they could do or what can they do. And I'm afraid of AI that's going to take over the computer system all over the world and create a fucking World War III by themselves. But that's the future stuff. But like I said, you guys back in the day, and I'm saying back in a couple of years ago, TDU would have been 100% on your side. They would have been backing you. They would have been giving you flyers. They've been telling you who to make noise to, who to send this shit. But now you don't have, TDU is the lapdog now. They do whatever the international wants them to do now. So we don't have anybody like you back in the days to speak about, oh, this is what's wrong about this. Because when Hoffa was in office, they was putting out a lot of shit, about everything that they got from the contract, everything they shouldn't get. And now that, thank God Sean O'Brien is an executive and his executive board is in. And now you don't have the spokesperson to talk about what's being done wrong, because a lot of locals stuff are being done wrong. I mean, I was at the TDU convention and some person came up to me that wants to be a shop steward and was rejected to be a shop steward. And that's crazy when she said that to me, because of the fact is here in Local 804, we have in our supplement that every year in May, someone could run against a shop steward and get elected. And these different locals that this particular person, and I don't want to say the local, but they pick they shop stewards. They pick and choose who they're going to be the shop steward. And that's not cool at all. I think it should be elected by the members to put that shop steward in position. If you have a executive board picking a shop steward, that is just trouble. That's just not representing the members in any kind of way, because that shop steward, and that person showed me, that particular shop steward wrote a statement against another member to get that member fired. And the executive board was okay with it. And that's crazy right there, because the shop steward should be elected by the members. If the members don't like that shop steward and another one runs, you have the opportunity to take that shop steward out and get a new shop steward in May, just like the executive board. In Local 804, we have 3 years of elections. If we're not doing the right job, voters out, get the new board in, let's see what they can do, but that's the right way to do it, though. Having a maybe I should, because he's going to talk shit. Maybe having a election for a shop steward, that's what the way it should be. It shouldn't be that the executive board picks the shop steward and then the members are free. So what I was saying to you, Jose, and I got jumped to another subject, is that back in the day, TDU would have backed you guys up 100%. Now it's you guys are on your own.
it's okay. We're gonna stumble, we're gonna fall, but we're not gonna compromise our values and our ethics. When you're talking about steward elections, in my local, there's no stewards elections. There's none.
Really?
There's only one sentence that mentions stewards in my bylaws. I forgot what the sentence, but it's only one sentence. You know, and that's one thing that Teamster Mobilize believes in that every steward should be elected. And it believes that we should have big, open, and transparent bargaining for all contracts. You have all the have the members there. Of all the members going to show up for negotiations, probably not. But the most diehard ones, the ones that are very dedicated and committed to the union, are they going to show up? Yeah, and they should have a right, and we should know what's happening in our negotiations, not a superficial update, or some superficial call where you only give, maybe a glimpse of what's happening. We want to know what's happening in the negotiations. They're going to use our money for these negotiations to pay, the whoever the negotiators are, the principal officer and stuff like that. We should know.
I absolutely agree. And I also disagreed with the fact that locals like yourselves, like yours, your local, and other locals around, that they don't have a shop steward election, which is that's not cool at all.
And I think there's a lot of locals. I think there's a
Yes.
lot of locals that don't have elections for stewards.
But I'm saying, stuff like that should have been brought up for the negotiations. Stuff like that in every local should have been brought up. If that's why talk about it now that the contract is over with? Why you had the time to speak your mind and say, listen, this local here, whatever local it is, don't have shop steward elections, and we should put that into the bylaws to have shop steward elections. Why wait till after everything is done and now we're going to talk about, hey, we don't have, because this is news to me. This is the first time me hearing that. I thought every local was the same as my local 804, that we have a shop steward election if you put in a letter of attempt to run in April, and the election will be in May. Every year, if someone wants to run against a shop steward that's not doing the right thing, they have the right every year to run against that person. I didn't know it was a big problem throughout the United States. I think this should have been brought up and been put into everybody's bylaws, that it should be a election, and it should be a executive board picking who they want, their friends, to be the shop steward, and writing statements against the member, because that's not being a shop steward. You're not, they always say the shop steward is the front line of the defense, and that's the truth. But if you have the right person there that wants to do the job and represent the members the right way, then that's the way to do it. Sometimes you get some people that run against a shop steward that's not a problem, that he's putting in grievances, he's defending, and sometimes because the person don't like the shop steward and gets his, he gets his friends together in the center, and then they say, I'm going to take him out because I'm going to let you guys work through your lunch. I'm going to make sure that you guys don't come to union meeting. Then you get to elect a person that does the opposite of the union. But it still don't make it right to have a executive board pick shop stewards. I think it should be talked about, and I think the members could do something about it by going to the general membership meeting, and when it's new, when they talk about what I can't even say it on top of my fucking tongue. What the fuck is it? But anyway, they presented at the general membership meeting as new business. I'm sorry, there it goes. Couldn't say that. As new business, go to the microphone and say, I want the bylaws to be put in for in the contract or in the bylaws to have a shop steward election every year. They're not going to give you the answer right there in the first general election, but the next general election, the next general meeting, they have to put a vote in to see how many members want that in the bylaws as far as, shop steward elections. I don't know in other states that maybe the members are not doing it. I don't know. I just don't understand how the executive board gets to pick a shop steward and then leave them there when it's doing a bad job for the members, because the shop steward is the first line of defense. I praise my shop stewards because they take care of everything for me. They do their thing. They write grievances. They call me on shit. I'm going to tell you stories. I mean, my shop stewards are fucking excellent. All my shop stewards from my buildings, they're great, from the preload, local sort, from the drivers, from the car washes. I'm telling you, my shop stewards are number one because they are very concerned about the membership. They are very good. And other shop stewards that the other BAs have in other buildings in my local are great. Of course, you're going to have one bad apple, but one bad apple is not whatever. But shop stewards are the first line of defense. They're the ones who know the center. They're the ones who knows everyone in that center personally. How many kids? When did they get sick? What's going on? The shop steward knows everything. Okay, because when I go into a building and I talk to the shop steward and he tells me about a certain person, I know the name, but I just don't know who he is, what type of person he is. The shop steward would tell me everything, what type of person he is. He's not a management guy. He's straight up, this, that. That's the great thing about having a shop steward for the first line of defense. They're the best. But who makes them the best? Your business agent, your executive board. Your executive board teaches them the right things and the wrong things. The contract, what's the violations? What are the agreements for? If you don't have it, if you have a shop steward in your barn or whatever you guys call it, a center, that doesn't call his BA to ask him questions, he's no good. Because let me tell you something. Sometimes I don't know the answer. I have to call the president of my local. Okay. I got to call a trustee of my local because some of them, or now all of us, knows the contract more than others. And if I don't have the answer for my shop steward, I say, I'll get back to you. But I guarantee you I get back to him within an hour with an answer of what he's trying to grieve. And that's the way it should be. Because if you have a shop steward that don't ask you questions, he's no good. Because he's telling the members whatever he wants to say and says, whatever. Don't grieve it because it's not a grievance, because you don't know if it's a grievance or not. But anyway, it's a lot of things that I want to talk about.
Basically, some of these bylaws need to be democratized. You know, there's sometimes there's too much power held by the principal officer, whether it's the president or the secretary treasurer. You know, those bylaws need to be democratized. And it like for my local, either the executive board brings it up in the meeting, they brings it up, and then you vote on it at the next meeting with 2/3 for a passing vote, or you get 10% of the membership to sign a petition. You know, they have to validate the names and stuff like that, and then you read it at the general membership meeting. Then at the next general membership, you know, you vote on it. You know, all you have to do is just look at your bylaws and see how can something be amended. I'm pretty sure different locals' bylaws are they're different bylaws. You know,
Do you have access? Do you have access to your bylaws? Do every member in your local has access to your bylaws?
Yes.
And that should be that way, because everyone that doesn't have access to their bylaws, you go to your principal officer and you ask for those bylaws, because those bylaws are there for a big reason why those bylaws are there. Those bylaws are the ones that, like the executive board, like myself in the executive board, have to abide by all those bylaws. The bylaws are there to make sure that the members are not being treated the way they are, and make sure that they're doing the right thing by the membership, money wise, spending wise, everything. Everything that you should know about the bylaws are in the bylaws, and they should have access. You should have access to them. And if you don't, ask your principal officer to get you access to it. Here in Local 804, our bylaws are on our website. You can go to our website and go to the bylaws, and you can print out the whole bylaws of what it is you need to do. And you have the right as a member to look at those bylaws. You have the right as a member to look at anything in the local. As long as you call your secretary or treasurer and set up an appointment that if you want to see last meeting minutes or whatever, you have the right as a member, as long as you are a dues pay member and you're an active member. As far as active, meaning your dues are up to date, that you don't have, that you didn't pay your dues, but your dues are up to date. You have the right to go to call a secretary treasurer and set up an appointment to see whatever minutes you feel like you want to see. If you want to see minutes from the last general membership meeting, or you want to see minutes, you have, as a member, you have the rights to see anything that's in that hall. With that said, like I was talking before, some people run for the right reasons. Some people run because they just feel they want to run because they went through something, and because I got fired from the company, and now I'm back and strong. Now vote for me because I got fired before and I got the job back. Listen, I got fired 3 times. Okay. I didn't run because I got fired 3 times. I ran because it was a board running, and they asked me to run because I was that guy. I was that shop steward. When I was a shop steward for 9 years, I did everything possible to defend the member. And as a BA, I'm doing the same thing now, doing the same thing, but with more authority, more power to it. People always say, "Oh, Hector, you never go to arbitration." I don't go to arbitration. I try not to go to arbitration. But you know what? At the same time, the members, if you're listening, you protect your own job. I can't protect your job. I could defend the truth. I could defend the contract. I could enforce the contract. But you as a member are the biggest person that you have to look into. And when I'm saying look into the mirror, because that's the guy that's going to fire you or keep you working. Because the stupid things that you do out there, thinking that, hey, the union's going to get me my job back because I did this, I stole a cell phone, or I pulled a fucking knife at a customer. Dude, that's all you. It's nothing to do with the union. I hate when they come up to me and say, well, it's your job to save my job. You're fucking wrong. And I'm telling you right now, your job is to save your job. My job is to enforce the contract and make sure that your rights are not violated. But I can't hold your hand and say to you, hey, don't steal that fucking phone because you're going to lose your job. I can't be with you 24 hours a day on the truck. I can't tell you to ride down the wrong side of the street. I can't tell you to not take a commercial truck into a parkway because you want to make shortcuts and then run into another car and get into an accident. I can't tell you that. That's your decision. You made those decisions. You know not to go on a parkway with a commercial truck, but you decided to go to cut some time off of your time to get off of the next exit. But guess what? Nature happens. Shit happens. You would be innocent to try to cut your time and go into the parkway. You get into an accident. Now is the union to blame for that? Because the union was the one that told you to go into that parkway when you have a commercial vehicle. The union is the one that told you, listen, I know you need money, steal a fucking phone. Maybe it'll make up the union is the one that tells you this, right? You're wrong. The union doesn't tell you this. The union tells you opposite, and you fucking do it the other way. That's what you guys do. And this is what I got to make everyone understand this shit, that you quick to blame somebody. You're quick to blame the union. What is the union going to do? What is the union? Well, the union is going to give you some lessons and some education and tell you what not to do. What you choose to do, that's on you. So stop fucking saying to me, I pay union dues. You work for me. Motherfucker. You work for yourself because you're the one who's going to make yourself get fired by stealing, by lying, by fucking cheating. You're going to get yourself fired. Okay. We give you everything in the book for you don't get to that point, not to get fired. We lecture you. We educate you. We warn you. We verbally tell you when we see things, as especially me as a BA, if I see something and I'm driving and I see a fucking driver doing some crazy shit, I personally stop and go to the driver and say, hey, not doing something right. You got to correct that. Because if it was a supervisor or a manager watching you right now, he'll pull you in the office for what you're doing by putting your truck on the fucking sidewalk. You can't do those things. No matter what time you cannot pad routes. It's not the union fault that you go out there and you have 4 packages for one person, but you're sheeting them each as one stop each, making it 4 stops for one person. We're not telling you to do that. We're telling you not to do that. But you're doing it to cut corners. And then when you cut corners, guess what? The company finds out. And then they bring you in the office. And guess what? You're not only doing it for that one day they caught you for. They go back into your records and they see that you have a pile this big of padding routes. And then you're going to say, what is the union going to do? You got to think about that, guys. The union is not there. The protecting of the job is yourself. They gave you the training. They gave you the methods. You're not going to know every method because it's 340 methods in the whole thing. No one, the president of the local is not going to know the 350 methods. But you're going to know the basic methods that you need to do your job. One of them is not to steal. One of them not to bring weapons to the building. No one of them is not to pad routes. One of them not to flag routes. One of them is not to argue and curse out a woman as a customer. None of that stuff. None of them is to hit somebody, or even this one now, because it's peak season, guys. Fuck around with your fucking helper, a female helper. You must respect the female helper as she was your sister, your mother, or your wife, or your daughter. You got to respect the helpers, because already peak season even started. I already got somebody on discharge because of sexual harassment. Are you guys fucking kidding me? And then you want the union to fucking be like, hey, we're here to defend you because that's an outside helper. No, bro. Think of it, if it was your daughter being harassed like that, what would you do? Okay? The whole thing is don't do it. If you're getting a girl helper for the season, treat her with the respect. You got to teach her the rights and wrong as far as safety, how she climbs up on the 3 points of contact, how she puts on her seatbelt, how she carries the boxes. That's your main concern. Anything else is out of the question. Don't talk to her about what she did last night. Don't talk about how she likes to give head. Don't tell her how big her titties are. None of that is none of your concern. Your concern is to fucking have her as a helper, pass her the package, let her go deliver it. And at the end of the night, she punches out. She says, bye-bye, see you tomorrow, and good night. I've seen this. I've seen drivers, the helper is in their personal car taking them home. So you know what happens with that. You know what happens with that, because now a relationship starts. A relationship starts with a helper. You have a wife. You're going to take her home. It's innocent as it stands. But no, now a relationship starts. So now let me tell you what happens in the cases that I fucking deal with, that I got to deal with. And this is what pisses me off. Because and then now the relationship is not good. She's mad at you because you didn't buy her a slice of pizza on that day. So now she's mad at you. And what she's going to do to get mad at you, to get at you, is she's going to call HR and says that you sexually harassed her. Now it's a he say, she say type of situation. And guess what the company's going to do? The company's going to believe the female instead of the driver. And then they're going to pull you in the office and the harassment. There we go. Now they put you on a working 72. Now I got to fucking deal with the fact that she's going to write a statement saying that you told her you wanted to see her titties or you wanted to see her ass or whatever the case may be in that particular situation. Don't put yourself in that situation, guys. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. They are seasonal helpers. They're there to make money for the season. Let them and respect them. Let them make the money and respect them. Think of them as your daughter, your sister, your mother, your grandmother. Treat them the way you treat your family. Okay? They're not pieces of fucking garbage. They're not there for eye candy. That's not why they're there for. They're there to help you move those packages for peak season. May I have an amen or anybody else got to say something to say about that? I guess not.
Everybody, you got to treat everybody with respect. You know, if you have a driver helper, treat them with respect. You know,
the other shows won't talk about that shit because you
have to treat everybody with respect. You know, it's the way it is. You know, if you have a driver helper, you know, and you know they don't have, you know, they only got like $10 on them, you know, then treat them for lunch. You know, that's acceptable, but don't go beyond that. You know, keep it professional.
Exactly, and I say that because a lot of guys that listen to my show are in my area, and I preach it all the time. I have parking lot meetings, and any shop stewards out there that haven't had a parking lot meeting before peak season, I advise you to do so. Advise or keep it out of your system because it gets out of my system when I tell them the do's and don'ts in peak season. And it's not a period that you lack off and you run through your lunch, and it's the same system, but now you have a helper. And that helper is going to help you out in that peak season, and you have to treat them with respect. No sexual harassment, no talking about who, you know, how many people they blew or what they did last night and how they got drunk and how none of that shit should be in the subject. And also another thing, don't take them home. I don't listen. They got there somehow. They could get back home that way, the same way they got there. So don't take them home because that's when the relationship starts. Like I said before, that's when it starts because they're going to say bye-bye. Then you got texting going on. I have cases that texting back and forth. They showing the help is showing the body on the text, and you know it. And then they rate. The funny thing is not funny at all. But the drivers, they erase those messages because they don't want to go home with those messages because guess what? The wife will find out, right? So now this person is mad at you and now is saying, oh, look, I sent him all these, you know, he sent me all these messages of my penis and blah, blah, blah. And then guess what? And then we go to the driver and say, hey, you have messages of her saying you shit? No, I erased everything. Now we got a fucked up case. Is a fucked up case. You don't want to lose your job for, you know, a couple of months of having a helper. You don't want to lose your job. You don't want to lose your job for stealing a cell phone. You make enough money to buy yourself a cell phone. You don't need to carry any weapons in the facility. You cannot bring guns, knife, a freaking saw that I found the other day, a fucking jigsaw saw. You know, you cannot bring those shits in there for the safety of you, others, and the public. All right. And I mean, I'm going to be saying a lot of shit and what I see, what the cases that I deal with, because I want not only to guys to open up their eyes of what they're not supposed to do, is not do it at all. And one thing is another thing. Don't lie. Don't lie during investigation. Not in the low-level hearing, not even in my hearing. because when it gets to me, that means something went wrong in the low level hearing. So my shop stewards always tells the guy before they go in the office, and I tell them all the time, we can win, we can fight the truth, but we cannot fight a lie, because your lie will carry on. It'll start this small. By the time you finish, the conversation is this big. It's bigger, because you got to lie for that lie. You got to lie for that lie. You got to lie. And guess what? They might not have anything on you. The company might have shit on you, not shit to discharge you, but they're going to have shit to discharge you for lying during investigation and being dishonest. So my advice to you guys is to be honest 100%. Sometimes as a man, sometimes we all got to take a loss. We can't be right all the time. We got to take a loss sometime. We got to man up and take a loss. If you're smoking marijuana and you're high, man up. The way you fix the problem is by manning up, by telling the truth and telling what's up, and then we can work from there. But if you're gonna lie to the shop steward, you're gonna lie to the business agent that's there to defend you of what's going on, we're gonna lose. We all lose. Not only you. The shop steward loses, the business agent loses, the local loses, the Teamsters loses. Okay? We need everyone to be honest. And remember, you are the first person to defend your own job is by doing the right thing. Simple as that. You will never have to go in the office if you're doing the right thing. Simple as that. Well, that's about it about this show, because I only do an hour, and I have a lot more to say and a lot more to talk about, especially with this TDU convention that just went by. Everybody was saying how great it was. I'm going to tell you straight up, it's bullshit. They bullshitting. Of course they great, because they pat each other in the back and kiss each other in the cheek and grab each other's ass, I guess. I don't know. But that's amigo to amigo. Did I think it was the only thing that I had to say is that Sean O'Brien made a great speech. Lindsay did a great speech. I didn't care for the UAW guy, but everybody was praising him that he was the best speaker in the whole weekend. I guess so. I wasn't there. I was having a beer. But everybody praised him at TDU, and a lot of people got rejected from TDU. And we'll find out who they are, and they'll come on our show and tell us, hey, we got rejected to go to a TDU. Hey, it's not a rejection. It's not a Teamster stuff. It's not like a unity conference. It's not like anything to do with Teamsters. That's just TDU. It's just an outside organization that Teamsters go to. I'm not a member of TDU. And, so the late listeners, this will be my last time going to TDU, because it's boring. It's so fucking boring. It's like people, you go there just to get a pat in the back. Like, hey, you accomplished something. Oh, okay, very good. That's all it is. Jose, what are you saying? What are you thinking, bro? I'm ready to...
I just didn't like how some in TDU treated, those that are in Teamster Mobilize that went to TDU. Like, there's some that are in their TDU members. Are they going to be TDU members after this experience? Probably not. I know one Teamster Mobilize person ran. Jess, she ran for an ISC position. She lost, but
what is that position? What is that? What does that do? I mean, what is it? It's
the steering committee.
It's a volunteer. You got to pay for your own way to go to Detroit to discuss what? To discuss the following convention? Or what the fuck are they doing? What is a SI whatever committee?
SIC, just to steer and shape TDU in whatever direction they think TDU should go. But I know she ran for a position. She lost, but I also heard there was a lot of backroom talk to kind of get her, defeated, because she is part of Teamster Mobilize, and some think that she had something to do with an article that was written by, like I mentioned before, about this UPS contract, and
I never heard of that article. I never
TDU.
seen that. I never
It's
seen that article or heard of it.
I'll send it to you. It's a Cosmonaut article. It's basically a Marxist analysis of the UPS contract. So some people at TDU thought that she was part of that article. I don't know. Jess told me she had nothing to do with it. I mean, we know the authors of the
you would know
article.
what you would know. Was she part of that article?
No.
Who cares if she was or she wasn't? It doesn't matter. See, it's the freedom of speech, man. We allowed to say what our opinions, what we feel like saying. We're not in fucking North Korea or whatever, South Korea, whatever you can't talk.
North Korea.
South Korea, right? So North Korea. So North Korea, we're not in North Korea. We're in America, and we have the right to speak and say whatever the fuck we want to say. No one can control another person of what to say. Some people do get control. I'm not going to say who it is, but some people do get control of how they speak, how they say things, how they, pronounce things, whatever. That's not me. My ass is tight. I don't have no hand going up my ass and telling me how to speak. I'm not a puppet. So anybody cannot control me. And that's another thing with TDU, what I don't like, because they got the same characters doing the same shit over and over. Why don't you have a real person, like a real business agent, teaching a class of what he went through and what cases he went through and what did he do to fix or to get the member out of that situation, or get that member to accept whatever it needs to be accepted. So once you have real business agents that are out there in the field doing the real work and teaching other business agents that just became into office, that don't know the ass from the nose and don't know the bylaws and don't know the contract, and let the real people that's been out there and tell them straight up how it is, instead of sugarcoating everything and saying, well, you have to do it this way because, fuck that. Put me in that motherfucker. This is how way you're going to be taught. You're going to be taught the way I fucking do the things around management. I don't fuck around with management. I don't play with them. I going in there with a serious face. I don't fucking say what's up to them. I don't say, how you doing? How was your weekend? And you have executive board people that go into these facilities with a happy face. I don't go in there with a happy face. I go there. I mean, when I get called into that office to defend a member and to see what the fuck are his rights being violated, I go straight up, full blast. I don't give a fuck if your mother's there. I tell you how it is, what is, and I know how to tell you to go fuck yourself. And that's what I do. People might have different ways of doing things, but I tell you straight up, if you are fucking with a member and I feel that you're fucking just being a dick to him, I'm going to call it out. You're being a fucking dick, you asshole. I'm just like that, but this, the way it's, the way they do it at TDU, I don't know. It's just it's lame. It's lame, but whatever. That is what it is. So next year, I guess, whoever goes, have fun at TDU. You won't see my ass there ever. I don't give a fuck. You will never see my shit there. And that should fuck me all up when the guy went up to the mic and said the best Teamster in the world, the best Teamster in the United States, Dave Levine. I said, motherfucker, he never was a Teamster. That nigga never picked up a box, never did anything for Teamsters. He never paid Teamster dues. How the hell he's the best Teamster out there? But whatever. That's the gaslighting and all that bullshit. But anyway, anybody else got anything to say before I get off the air? You good, Jose?
I mean, I don't like the way that some of Teamster Mobilize were treated, and I know. I don't. You weren't there on. I don't think you were there on Sunday.
No, I
you
left. I
said you-
left. I left as soon as I could. I changed my flight at Sunday morning. I got the fuck out of there. I couldn't take it no more. I couldn't see people kissing each other's ass and saying how good they are, how beautiful, you know, how what a great guy you. You have a couple websites. You are fucking excellent. You're doing a fucking excellent job on you. Listen, they do get hits. Like I'll be the first one to. I don't give a fuck if I have one person listening or 100 people listening. I really don't care about that. See, these people that are on these social media, they care about that. How many people sees them and how if they think they popular. Fuck that. I don't give a fuck about popular. These guys, that's what they do. They like the, hey, great job on that episode. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. But that's what it is. I call it the congratulation convention. It's not a TDU convention. It's like, let's go there to congratulate each other. But go ahead, Jose. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I know Teamster Mobilize brought up 2 resolutions at that TDU convention. One was for open bargaining, and another one was to support the Palestinians and the situation and what's happening over there. And I just find it funny that a person could wear a khalifa like this, right? This is what a Palestinian wears. This is a khalifa. A person wears a khalifa at that convention, and that person votes down a resolution in support of the Palestinians.
What resolution was that?
It was a resolution to support. Teamster Mobilize had a resolution. Teamster Mobilize, we're gonna put it up on our website pretty soon, hopefully within the week. And it's the resolution in support of the Palestinians and what's happening, because the Palestinian trade unions called for other unions and other trade unions to support them because of what's happening. I'm not saying what's right or wrong. I'm just saying this is what some Palestinian trade unions did. They wanted a call of solidarity from other trade unions.
Now I got to get into a conversation with you. What does that have to do with Teamsters? The Palestinians and the Israel. What does that have to do with Teamsters?
If a trade, we're all part of the labor movement, regardless if you're in the United States or you're abroad. We're all part of the labor movement. So if you have a trade union saying, "Hey, you know what? We're calling on solidarity from other trade unions," it should be brought up. Now, if the membership shoots it down, the membership shot it down, right?
I'm saying, did we do something to? I don't understand this, because the Palestinian or the whatever those guys are out there, the terrorist guy, not the Palestinian, the terrorist guy, the Hamas.
Oh, Hamas.
They started this shit by going into Israel, kidnapping over 200 people, killing them, beheading all of them, killing them, and their response was, throwing bombs over there. I mean, what's that has to do with Teamsters?
Is that the Palestinian trade unions called for solidarity. They called for a ceasefire to tell other unions, you know what, there needs to be a ceasefire. Right? But you have innocent people getting bombarded.
Will you go?
You have countless of deaths. But if a trade union calls for an act of solidarity, I think trade unions should do it, because we should be internationalists in our perspective when it comes to the trade union, when it comes to the labor movement, because these corporations don't understand. They don't recognize borders. They just do business wherever. Like right now, the money makers are all these military companies, Northwood, Raytheon. Their stocks are going up because why? There's wars. There's wars happening in Israel. There's a war happening in Ukraine, and they're collecting all this money. They're collecting hands over fist. And you have one set of people here, and the trade union say, you know what, we're calling on other trade unions to be in solidarity with us, to call for a ceasefire.
All right. I listen, that's for a different show, politics and bullshit. And I'm here for the, for letting you know what's going on around the IBT in the United States and locals around here. I would love you to get it.
But I just find it funny that you wear this, right? That means
I
that
don't wear that.
well, I know, but you wear this because I support the Palestinians in Anaheim. There's a big Palestinian population. You wear this as a form of solidarity with them. And then
I asked you the question.
some individuals
Let me
shut
ask
it
you a
down.
question. Will you go into a gunfight with a knife?
No, because I'll get killed like that.
Exactly. So what those Hamas people did to the Israel people that's not cool.
Israelis
Knew they was gonna have a reaction because they have more powerful equipment. They knew the reaction was gonna come down, so they let their own peoples down because they knew when they did that it was gonna be a reaction, and the reaction was major. Okay, it was major. And now, all of a sudden, we're going to say, you know what? Let's support the Palestinians now. I don't care what's going on over there, to tell you the truth. Because if anybody were to come into my door at this moment, intruding into my door, I would shoot them dead right now because they are violating in my property. Okay? These Hamas people are terrorists. They went in there with a goal of kidnapping Israel and killing them and killing innocent babies. If you saw the fucking videos and I'm getting into the politics of this. I don't understand how I got into it. Thanks, Jose. Thanks for getting me into the politics of it. But, I don't think anything one has to do with the other, with the Teamsters and the Palestinians and the Israel. Listen, if they don't like each other, they could fucking kill each other. I don't give a fuck, to tell you the truth. As long as it doesn't involve me and my freedom, I don't give a fuck. Sorry to say. Holy shit. Go ahead. Come on, Jose. Let's go. Bring it.
Okay, you just talked about your house, right? If somebody goes into your house and tries to steal your house, you'll shoot them, right?
Exactly.
Now, you have Palestinians that have been living in some lands, right? They have their home, been living there generations. You have this settler colonial policy of the Israeli government where you're a Jewish person living wherever it may be. You say, you know what, I want to go live in Israel, right? Okay, you go live in Israel. I want to live at that house. I want to live at your house, Hector, your house that your family's been living there for generations. I want to go in your house.
But that's not
hold on. Yes, it is. Yes,
how
it is.
Because the Hamas people intruded there.
Hold on. You just talked about your house.
Mm-hmm.
I want to live in your house because I'm part of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you live in my house. But if you break into my house, then I'm gonna. No,
I'm not going to. I'm not going. You might let me live
if
in
you
your
ask
house.
me to come in, if you're asking me to come in,
I'm taking you out of your house, and I'm taking your house.
If you're
that's
breaking
not your house no more. They do that in Israel.
All right, but
they have a settler colonial policy where if I'm a part of the Jewish faith, I want to go live in Israel, I could take those lands.
This could go on forever, and I'm not gonna go into the politics with it. I whatever you believe in, I'm with you, whatever. I'm with whatever, but I'm with this. This is a radio show for the union, the Teamsters, and politics, and what's going on in other countries.
But politics has to do with labor too.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where you're putting the chains together with labor and what's going on in Israel. I don't get it. But it's all right. Hey, listen, that's for another show. That's for a fucking Trump show, whatever the fuck it is. But not in this show. I try to entertain it for a little bit, but it's just not gonna. Okay. It's just gonna be a long thing. I still respect you, Jose. I see what you do and what you do for the movement of the Teamsters and how you always out there in the rallies and helping strike. I got that. But as far as politics, when it comes to government and all that shit, I really don't want to talk shit about here. I don't want to talk about Trump. I don't want to talk about Biden. I don't want to talk about what the fuck is going on. I just want to
guess what?
I want to talk
If they-
about Teamsters
Oh.
and the IBT and the local. That's what I want to talk
Hold
about.
on. A year from now, politics is going to play a crucial role when it comes to the presidential election. You know what I mean? It's
Listen,
just
if he
we're
could
not
run,
going to skip. We're
he
not
could
going to
run-
skip that.
if he could run behind bars, that's fine with me. You know, I really don't give a fuck. Anyway, that was the end of our show. Thank you, Jose. Thank everyone for listening to the What the Heck show here on Union Power Radio. I do this every other Sunday. The next Sunday I will talk about, like I said, this is just a live show, not a recorded show. And I know the bi-weekly guys listening. This is a live show. I'm gonna put it on podcast. This is just to tell you the facts of the straight up shit. The other shits that they talk about, you know, they could gaslight.
Yes, brother, I'm listening. I'm here.
They could gaslight you and tell you what they want you to hear, but I'm just gonna tell you exactly what I experienced, and it is what it is, you know. But anyway, until next time, thank you for listening to the What the Heck show. Thank you, Jose. Thank you from the West Coast. Thanks everyone for listening to the What the Heck show. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.